The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Today at the Chokeslam Wrestling Report on my YouTube channel, we're going to be talking about why Vince McMahon decided to break up the Hurt Business. I mean, I know it's been a week since this happened, but they still talking about it on social media and how Vince McMahon just decided to break up factions because he may not like a certain wrestler in that faction. That and much more on this weekend edition of WrestleMania weekend of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One, and today, as I said in the introduction, we're going to be talking about why Vince McMahon broke up the Hurt Business and what he is known for. We already know what he's all about. If he doesn't like a certain wrestler, you know, he's going to squash him. I mean, you see what happened to Andrade a couple of weeks. He decided that he didn't want to stay there because he was in the back in catering, and he's still talking about it as we speak, because as we know, the WWE new clown of the circus, Nick Khan, made a comment about WWE thinking of probably doing a Lucha Libre style wrestling promotion under their banner. But we all know that that is nonsense. Nick Khan is another clown who joined the circus of the WWE. So we're going to talk about the Hurt Business situation. And before we do, I want to thank to all my subscribers in the YouTube channel and being able to subscribe to the channel, show love to the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. And guys, I know, a lot of you guys don't like to hear about me complaining about WWE. A lot of you guys, the apologists, will say that we're never satisfied as far as WWE is concerned. The product. Oh, we complain, give it time. Listen, I've been giving it time since January 18 of 2018. And what Vince McMahon just did, breaking up the Hurt Business because he doesn't like certain wrestlers in that group, particularly one person. But before I start again, I want to thank all my subscribers. Again, guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. If you like to hear the audio, I have an audio podcast called the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. It's not like other podcasts that they will record on YouTube and then they go and download it on the audio. No, that's not what I do. Every week on Sundays and Thursdays, I download a new podcast talking about the behind the curtain stuff. On Sundays, behind the curtain, talking about what happened during the week in wrestling. And then on Thursday, I do the AEW Dynamite review, which includes some wrestling news. If there's any, that's what I do. But the Chokeslam Wrestling Report YouTube channel is a weekly roundup that I do. This week, I wasn't planning to do one because it's WrestleMania weekend. Everybody's all hyped up. A lot of the podcasters, they've done their retro. They've gone through the history of WrestleMania, the yada yada stuff that they like doing to bring in fans. I don't do that. I'm gonna be realistic. I don't do that because that's not me. Why would I want to talk about history that I already know and a lot of people know already? And I'm not gonna talk about what happened 10, 15 years ago. We should be focusing on the product now. That what it is garbage. Okay? And NXT, let me tell you, NXT should be the number one brand in the WWE right now. With the shows that they put the last 2 nights. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been able to watch the shows because, one, they gave it free on Wednesday, but the best NXT, WWE, instead of being loyal to their fans, they said, let's just put it on Peacock, because if you're loyal to WWE, you would register to Peacock. But anyway, I digress. But let's talk about the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business. It's funny how the Hurt Business, when they first came into the scene with the MVP Bobby Lashley, and at that time they had Shelton Benjamin, you would think that probably this is going to be a faction that was going to be taking over the WWE Raw, Monday Night Raws. They were going to be the next Evolution. Now, I mean, look who you had in Evolution back then. You had Triple H, a multi-time champion. You had Ric Flair, the dirtiest player of the game. You had a young Randy Orton just getting his feet wet. You had Batista, who was another guy who was just coming up the Ohio Valley Wrestling, and they formed this beautiful faction of young talents with the All Horses, and the present time champion at that time was Triple H. So when the Hurt Business were put together, it was pretty much almost the same, with the exception that none of the guys that were in that faction, with the exception of one guy, and if you want to call the TNA Impact a world title, if we want to talk about it, he was the only guy there, which was Bobby Lashley, who was a former world champion. MVP, of course, was a United States champion at the time. Shelton Benjamin, a multi-time tag team champions, along with Charlie Haas as the world's greatest tag team with Kurt Angle back in the day, and a young Cedric Alexander. So now we have this faction that they could have ran with it. At the same time, Cedric Alexander would have learned more under the All Horses, the guys who's been there, the guys who's had won championships in the past, and made it look like the next Randy Orton, and the young Randy Orton. Even though Cedric Alexander's been around for a long time, you could have done that. But no. They pushed the Hurt Business to a point where Bobby Lashley became this diabolical monster, taking over everybody, beating everybody. And let me tell you, the MVP should be given credit for turning around Bobby Lashley's wrestling career in WWE, because WWE wasn't doing anything with Bobby Lashley. And as you guys know, the ending of 2019, which I still remember, December 30, 2019, with that horrible wedding segment with Lana, Rusev, all that. That was the worst segment that I ever seen in wrestling history in WWE. And the funny thing is that, the McMahon didn't care. He was just putting anybody he was putting over the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and it wasn't until MVP, who wrestled on I think he wrestled WrestleMania. I think it was a kickoff show, whatever. But he was able to convince Vince McMahon, let me take these guys, let me work with them, let me do what I have to do. And they brought in Shelton Benjamin. They brought in Cedric Alexander. After a couple of weeks, Cedric Alexander fighting with the Hurt Business, along with Ricochet and whatnot, and Apollo Creed, which made it interesting. At the end, Cedric Alexander flipped and decided to be part of the Hurt Business. Now, Hurt Business goes and win the Bobby Lashley wins the United States title. Alexander and Benjamin ends up beating the New Day for the World Tag Team titles, the Raw World Tag Team title, for what it's worth, because the tag team titles in WWE don't mean nothing, because there's no tag teams except New Day and Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, and now you broke them up. What tag teams do you have? You know what I'm saying? So now you make Sheldon and Cedric lose the belts. Bobby Lashley wins the world title, and now McMahon says, I'm going to break up the Hurt Business for no apparent reason, for nothing. You have no excuse for breaking it up, only because you don't like Cedric Alexander. You don't think highly of Cedric Alexander. And the problem I have with this, when it comes to wrestlers that are under the WWE banner and under the contract, if you don't like the wrestler, let them go. Okay? You got Aleister Black supposedly wanted to wrestle. Aleister Black made I don't know if it's going to happen. But Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy challenged Aleister Black. I don't even know if that's going to be the kickoff show. Is this even going to happen? Aleister Black has not wrestled since October. Okay? Ever since his wife got let go, Selena Vega, or Thea Trinidad, the real name she is going by now, he has been punished. Ricochet, the same thing. I mean, Ricochet, I don't feel bad for Ricochet, because when the fans decided to go to defend him for what he was worth, okay, and you know they say, oh, that's messed up. They should push him. He lashed out at the fans. So I do not feel sorry for you at all, Mr. Ricochet. And the fact that Seth Rollins decided to back you up or use you, let's put it this way, use you as a pawn in a Twitter war with Will Ospreay, saying that you were a better version of Will Ospreay when you won the United States belt, right? And he said that you were a better version of Will Ospreay. 3 years later, or almost 2 years later, Ospreay is a world champion in 2 continents while you in catering. Does that make any sense? So McMahon likes to bury wrestlers. If he doesn't like them, he pulls the rug under them. Okay, and as far as faction is concerned, let's talk about the faction. Here you had the Hurt Business, like I said earlier, could have went far. It did not run out of didn't run out his course. It didn't run his course. It didn't run out of his course. Because they could have pushed it. They could have been the dominating force. They could have, I remember when they brought in Retribution. Then you had Hurt Business beating up a Retribution. And if he was planning to make this Retribution group a crazy faction, a hardcore faction that didn't care, well, you killed that the first time when you put him in there with the Hurt Business. It goes to show you where Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon's head is at. Now, people may not agree with me. They were like, oh, you just complaining, you bitching and moaning, whatever. But the facts are facts. I don't come to this YouTube video every week to talk garbage, to talk nonsense. I speak the truth. Okay? Now, we're going to WrestleMania this Sunday or tomorrow, whatever it is. Tomorrow, that's we speak of. Today is Friday. Tomorrow, you got Bobby Lashley against Drew McIntyre for the world title. A 2009 or 2010, whatever the hell it was, TNA rematch impact match, that's what I call it, because it's not even a WrestleMania worthy match. But if Bobby Lashley loses to Drew McIntyre, you know how bad that's gonna look. I mean, not that McMahon gives a rat's ass, because basically he doesn't give a rat's ass. He gave you this WrestleMania season, which was one of the freaking most horrible WrestleMania season that he gave, and the Go Home show was pathetic. Do you think he cares about the fans? I say it every week and I repeat it every week, and people still support this product. Retribution, again, was supposed to be this big faction. This faction with a bunch of little guys breaking windows, coming with axe, cutting the ropes. It made this thing look like, the minute I saw it, I was like, this looks stupid. These guys are like 5'3", breaking and terrorizing everybody in a performance center. Then they bring in the Maze and Donovan Dijakovic and T-Bag and T-Bar or whatever the hell their name is, Scumbag, whatever their name is, okay? And then once they saw that this was a failure, that was going to come crashing down hard, they added Mustafa Ali as the guy who was behind this since February of last year, the hacker. Stop. Basically, when it comes to factions, they are not good in keeping them together. They don't have a storyline. Bruce Pritchard don't know what the hell he's doing. And let's talk about another faction that I felt that if they would have brought them into the WWE, and brought them in as one of the factions that I think they had been the best faction since probably DX, and that is the Undisputed Era. People say, oh, the Undisputed Era ran its course. Well, the Undisputed Era ran its course because they were delaying the Adam Cole and the rest of the group to come into WWE, to the Raw and SmackDown roster, because they were trying to juice them out, take every ounce of juice out of them from NXT. And now it ran its course. As of last night, Adam Cole, I think he lost to Kyle O'Reilly. And now Adam Cole is might be coming up the main roster. And it's funny because last night after the NXT show, they had NXT conference media, and they spoke about the Io Shirai and Adam Cole. And Triple H did not speak anything about Adam Cole. He spoke about Io Shirai having a choice. So basically what you're saying is that Adam Cole most likely will be coming up to the main roster after WrestleMania. And we're going to see the pretty much the end of Adam Cole, because they're not going to use Adam Cole the way he was wrestling in NXT. And if you don't believe me, because most of you be like, oh, give it a chance. Really, let's talk about giving a chance to guys like Aleister Black, Ricochet, and whatnot. Those guys were champions in NXT. And where they at now? Right? So the factions, the thing with the faction, with the fact that McMahon, once he doesn't like a wrestler, he doesn't want to. So why keep him under contract? Why? Are you like this guy who wants to keep them as slaves or whatever? I don't know what McMahon is thinking. You're trying to keep them away from AEW, whatever. The war with AEW is over already. You lost. You put NXT against AEW, you lost. Okay? Now, mind you, AEW is falling for this little thing with the WWE at doing the same stupid shit that WWE does by adding guys that don't belong in wrestling and doing stupid stuff. Because this past Wednesday, 2 days ago, they were just all over the place. Okay? All over, bringing Mike Tyson in. I don't know why. But anyway, that's another subject. That's another time. Okay? But you lost the war. You didn't want to put SmackDown or Raw against AEW because you knew you were going to get your ass whooped. Okay? So you put NXT. You pretty much almost deteriorated NXT. So you figure like, well, let's get the NXT out of Wednesdays and put them on Tuesdays. Because McMahon supposedly don't watch NXT supposedly. But yeah, you want to bury guys because you don't like them. The thing with the Hurt Business, what is the Hurt Business and the Undisputed Era? You didn't even give a chance to Undisputed Era to even come to the main roster. You know the matchup you would have had if it would have been the Hurt Business versus the Undisputed Era? That would have been money. I would have paid to see that. But you don't want to make long-term storyline. You don't want to create superstar. You don't want to do it. You want to keep wrestlers hostage. Okay? If I was a wrestler and whatnot, and I feel that my boss is trying to hold me back, I would have took your ass to court. Because even if you're not using me, you got me on the contract, but you're not using me. And that's the problem right there. That McMahon is not using Aleister Black. Now Cedric Alexander, this is a guy who came to the Cruiserweight Classic in 2016. Lost the match, but was giving a standing ovation. Has won the Cruiserweight title. And after that has not done really much. With the exception when he won the tag belt with Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin, I'm sure you want to go back to Japan and go back and hang out with Minoru Suzuki and the Suzuki Gun and whatnot. You regret coming back to WWE because they're not doing nothing with you. And he showed his frustration on Twitter. And whatnot. He was pissed off because MVP and Bobby Lashley tried to convince Big McMahon keep the. So what that tells you, but then you want it when the Shield was around, you wanted to make the Shield, oh my God, break them up, put them back together, a reunion, blah, 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 all the bullshit with the Shield, right? But when it comes to the Hurt Business, well, you could have had money there. That's money there, bro. Like they were the next evolution. But now, you want to keep. Your Monday Night Raw is probably going to look worse than ever now. You broke up the Hurt Business. Then I see that Baron Corbin now is in Raw. Why? Okay. This king of the clown. That's what I call him, king of the clowns. You know what I'm saying? Is there, and he's another, he's in the Vince McMahon kiss-ass club. That's what I call him. Anybody that does not speak against the boss, even though they know the boss is wrong, you're in the kiss my ass club from Vince McMahon. And Seth Rollins is one of them. Seth Rollins had the nerve to put something about his Hall of Fame jacket. Dude, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. You one of the guys that I can't stand because you're a company man. You don't care. You want to make sure you're in the good graces of Vince McMahon. You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. And again, I know this is WrestleMania weekend, and a lot of people are looking forward for this WrestleMania coming up. I'm sure I'll probably watch it whenever the hell I feel like it because I'm not wasting my time this weekend watching that. I'll probably see Saturdays and one night. Probably I'll watch the second night, maybe Monday. I'm not covering WrestleMania this year. Last year I did. and I did it with my boy, good old JM. And I did tell him we want to cover it, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. This is just a waste of time, me covering anything that has to do with WWE when the 98% of the matches that they are featuring this weekend are SmackDown or Raw matches. And anybody tells me that at least one of them is WrestleMania worthy, I can only say there's only one there, and that's Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. The rest of the card is not WrestleMania worthy. I don't care what anybody tells me. If you think Bad Bunny teaming up with Damian Priest against The Miz and Morrison, then you need to stop watching wrestling. Okay? Because originally it had The Miz versus Bad Bunny. I was like, oh, they really, really trying to lose more fans. And the fact that, like I said, they had the NXT second night on Peacock the other day, last night, goes to show you they don't care about the fans. They don't. They could have put it on, and they could have put it on the USA Network, and they could have said, look, we're giving you this as a show appreciation for you guys supporting NXT. No, they gave you the night one was the Raquel Gonzalez against Io Shirai, which, I mean, was definitely a main event worthy. But the big match, instead of them going out in the bank, they went out on a fizzle. They beat AEW on Wednesday. I mean, it's a takeover. That's going to be AEW any time of the week. On a takeover, regular Dynamite against a takeover, nah. NXT will beat AEW anytime when it comes to a takeover. But I don't know. That's the way I feel. That her business should have never been broken up. And McMahon loves breaking up factions, especially if he sees one guy in there. He likes breaking up tag teams. I mean, what they did to the New Day. I mean, it's funny that he broke them up because he felt that Big E needed his push. What about Xavier Woods? What are you waiting for him to get his push? You know what I'm saying? And pretty much, I really don't care for New Day because they had the nerve of the audacity to win the tag team belts for the 11th time, because there's no tag teams in WWE. Saying that the fans are complaining because they won the belts the 11th time. Sure, because there's no tag teams. But any wrestler that I see that likes to attack a fans when they give their opinion, when you know they're right. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying the fans are right all the time. The majority of fans just like to talk for the hell of it. But let's be realistic. There's no tag teams in WWE. So, of course, you're going to win the belt. I mean, the last time I checked, they had 6 times, and now they're up to the 11th. So, you telling me fans are not going to get fed up of watching the same tag team winning the belts? Shows you there's no competition in the damn WWE as far as tag team is concerned. So, but, they broke up the New Day. They're always breaking up something. So I want to see what's going to happen after WrestleMania. I'm dying for this shit to be over with, to be honest, because I want to see what WWE is going to do. So right now it's going to be pretty much quiet, but now after WrestleMania it's going to be AEW with the Double or Nothing. Their storylines are going good, but we're not talking about AEW here. We're talking about WWE and Mr. McMahon's obsession of breaking up factions because he feels that for whatever reason, especially if it's a wrestler like Cedric Alexander that he doesn't like, he will cut your cord off. But anyway, guys, I'm done with this. Thank you for listening. This is my weekly roundup. Again, guys, you want to follow me on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you go right ahead to Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Also, I have the Chokeslam Wrestling Report t-shirt on my website, the tcwr.veryimpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryimpressive.com, and you'll get this shirt right here with the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Let me show it completely. You'll get this for $20. I got other shirts in there. Plus, I have my snapback baseball cap with this logo on front of it. So you see, there you go. Let me get it right here real good, so guys, you can see it. And there it goes. So it's $20. You go to tcwr.veryimpressive.com to get your shirt. So see if you get that. I got the baseball cap. I got 2 other shirts in there that you guys could check. When you get into the website, you're gonna see a YouTube video that is linked to my YouTube channel. You get the week of the YouTube in there. Plus, on the bottom, you'll see the Chokeslam Wrestling Report logo. You click that, you get all the audio podcast archives. I'm tongue-tied today. archives in there, and you get to listen to all my audio podcasts in there. Check that out. Also, I am part of the Joners Podcast Network. If you want to follow me, you could check me out at WrestlingJoners.com, and you get to check all the other podcasters in there, Wrestling Podcaster. You can check that out. Again, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So follow me on tcwr.veryincimpressive.com. You get the merchandise, and that's about it, guys. So after this, I guess I'll see you next week. Enjoy your WrestleMania for those who are going to watch it. I, of course, will watch it on my earliest convenience, and I'll probably get something out of it, any news, and I'll probably bring it up next Friday. If not, enjoy your weekend and be safe.